So good afternoon, everyone, and happy new year, and welcome to our session. I'm sharing directly the slides. I hope you can see that, and then it is clear. We are actually starting a new chapter, which is the last chapter of the training that we've been going through with Sounds True. And then this new chapter is living aligned with our deepest purpose. And today, the first lesson of 4 is trusting and inhabiting our being. Now, I just wanted to make sure that I'm not sure. I think everyone I see on the screen has been participating somehow in the past. So you do know our rules. And then all I'm asking you is to take some of the next 20 and so minutes to be just with yourself, and then to gift yourself this wonderful moment of peace. So thank you for being here. And also thank you for giving yourself this gift for this new year. I wanted to do a very quick walkthrough of all the different chapters that we did. I like it because it actually gets ourselves physically and visually, feeling the different steps that we've taken together with this practice of mindfulness, starting with understanding what is arriving in presence, and then noting that we are noticing that we're here in the present moment and breathing, and then grounded with our 2 feet on the floor. Understanding what is the breath and then the body, and then going into what is a little bit less visual, but our emotional being, our emotional state, our feeling and our thinking. And then going into using all those tools that has been actually shared with us through the practices to go walk towards what we call the mindful living. So how we are incorporating those tools into our everyday life. And today, as you can see, we're walking into what we call trusting and inhabiting our being. To tell you the truth, I've been giving it a lot of thought about the story I wanted to share with you with trusting and inhabiting my being. I started thinking, I said, okay, I want to talk about a story that I had with my father, because he's a very, very strong figure in my life. A story about some of the bosses that I have in my life who actually shaped the way that I am who I am today. And then I'm saying, okay, so no, I wanted to just take 2 steps back and say, just sharing about I'm trusting who I am, Sylvie, being the being that I am, not the daughter of my father, but rather Sylvie, who is the daughter of her father, but actually is my father's daughter without being the connection or the continuity of the daughter of my father. I am a being of myself, so I'm trusting all the ability that actually I have gained. And also going through, all the bosses that actually meant something in my life, or professors or any important persons. I'm not an extension of who they are, but I'm rather this person who actually harvests everything that has been shared and everything that has been given to me, all the gifts that have given to me to become who I am. So that trusting today everything that I've actually collected and being who I am. So why I'm saying that is I was giving a lot of thought about it in specifically with what we lived the past year with all the racism situation happening. I, for a long time, wanted to say to people, I am too needed to have this opportunity, even though if I'm a colored person, or even though I have been given less opportunity for this or for that. But by reading this and then by understanding the trust and then the coming into my being and understanding what I am is not necessarily saying that I need to fight for the color of my skin or anything else, but rather celebrating all the combination of the thing that happened and then came into me. I'm not sure I'm really making sense. I was just giving a lot of thought about it and a lot of pauses and saying, what does trust mean in myself? What does that actually space that I'm giving myself to say that, I am who I am, and I'm not necessarily the daughter of my father, or the fruit of anything that has been done by so many other people, and rather, being kind, and as the slide says, being kind and being transparent, with recognizing, where I got certain skills and talent, and recognizing some gifts that my parents and my father did give me, but recognizing specifically who I am, and being proud, and then being very, very um, uh, at peace, I would say, with what I am today. And so I wanted to share the podcast with you and maybe hear from you, because it was a very difficult one for me to prepare, because of everything I can learn from it, and then because of everything that I have actually been learning for the past 2 years in your company. So let us just go through the podcast, and then maybe we can have this discussion together after. So you let me know if you can hear anything from it, please. Oops.
In these last sessions of Mindfulness Daily, we'll be exploring how mindfulness and kindness can become a spontaneous part of the way we live, how these qualities of awareness naturally give rise to generosity towards others and gratitude for life. As we integrate mindfulness into the different domains of our life, it's natural that old habits such as obsessive thinking and defensiveness and worry will still sometimes take over. So, a key element in mindful living is remembering to relax when these patterns arise, to forgive ourselves and start again, fresh in the new moment. Being at ease with the appearance of old habits requires trust. It requires trust in your own awakening heart and consciousness, and ultimately trust in life itself. There's a good metaphor for how that trust grows. Indigo cloth has that unique, deep, rich blue, but it takes some time for the cloth to get to that color. When a white cloth is first dipped into the vat of indigo dye, it comes out blue but then quickly fades to just a bit off-white. It's rinsed and dipped again. And once again, it fades quickly but holds a bit more color this time. Only after many rounds of dipping does the color of the cloth finally deepen to have that characteristic rich indigo hue. In the same way, every moment you dip into mindful presence, you grow more familiar with and at home in the awareness and kindness that's intrinsic to who you are. You can trust that the process of experiencing mindful moments itself is strengthening your ability to move through the world of joys and sorrows, of dangers and successes, with a steady and compassionate heart. Becoming more deeply immersed in mindful living doesn't mean it's all happy times ahead. You're bound to come against challenges. But you might find that the difficult experiences, a lost job, a struggle with health, a coworker you can't get along with, actually teach you. They can grow your compassion, reveal new strengths, and deepen your wisdom. Eventually, you come to trust that whatever's happening can, in some deep way, serve your understanding and awaken your spirit. To trust in this way is precious. It lets you stumble and get up as you become increasingly resilient, confident, and kind. As your path unfolds, this trust in your own goodness, in awareness, in life continues to deepen. The poet Pablo Neruda writes, "You can pick all the flowers, but you can't stop the spring." Life wants to renew and express itself. Consciousness wants to awaken, and it's bound to do so, no matter what. The deepening trust in life allows us to let go of our tendency to control everything, to incessantly prepare for the future and tense against what's around the corner. Instead, we can let life be just as it is. Only in letting be do we gain insight into the nature of reality and feel our full aliveness and joy. Now let's spend a few minutes dipping into mindful presence, letting ourselves, like that indigo cloth, grow deeper and richer in what it means to trust and let be. Please take a few moments to settle into a comfortable posture and collect your attention with your breath. Let your senses be open, aware of the sounds around you, the feelings and sensations in your body, alert and relaxed. And now listening to these words, a poem by Roger Keyes that reflects on the wisdom teachings of a 19th century Japanese artist. Hokusai says, look carefully. He says, pay attention, notice. He says, keep looking, stay curious. He says, there's no end to seeing. He says, look forward to getting old. He says, keep changing. You just get more who you really are. He says, get stuck, accept it. Repeat yourself as long as it's interesting. He says, keep doing what you love. He says, keep praying. He says, every one of us is a child. Every one of us is ancient. Every one of us has a body. He says, every one of us is frightened. He says, every one of us has to find a way to live with fear. He says, everything is alive. Shells, buildings, people, fish, mountains, trees. Wood is alive. Water is alive. Everything has its own life. Everything lives inside us. He says, live with the world inside you. It matters that you care. It matters that you feel. It matters that you notice. It matters that life lives through you. Contentment is life living through you. Joy is life living through you. Satisfaction and strength is life living through you. Peace is life living through you. He says, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Look, feel, let life take you by the hand. Let life live through you. As you meditate, feel your anchor in the foreground, a light, soft attention on the breath or body, and let your senses be wide open, including the background movement of sounds, sensations, feelings. Let this river of aliveness live through you. Continuing with your core practice, if any part of life becomes strong, calls your attention, let your intention be to say yes, letting it be fully, noticing what's arising. Yes to unpleasant sensations, yes to fear, yes to excitement, yes to longing. And if not the word yes, let your energetic response be one of trusting awareness and allowing, including, feeling fully, letting this life live through you. relaxed, open, alert, trusting the awareness that includes all of life. It matters that you care. It matters that you feel. It matters that you notice. It matters that life lives through you. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Look, feel, let life take you by the hand. Let life live through you.
I have gone through that recording a couple of times, and every time we come to that middle session, I was thinking, wow, it's giving us a lot of space to think, a lot of space to take it as slow as we can, and then one step at a time. Sharing a quick Zen tale with you, and questions that we ask ourselves all the time, right? Why is everybody here so happy except me? And because they have learned to see goodness and beauty everywhere. Why don't I see goodness and beauty everywhere? Because you cannot see outside of you what you fail to see inside. And everything we've been trying to do since the beginning of our practice together is to practice that, to start looking inward and start appreciating. So, apologies if my story is a little bit confusing, but hopefully you can share some interesting facts and interesting stories that is really dear to you through today's segment.
Sorry, there was some weird noise outside. It's like sounds
No
like a
worries.
chainsaw or something. It's like, what the? I don't know. I had trouble with this one, and I don't know if it's just I understood what you said at the beginning was I understood, and and then when there was a lot of space for thinking, and I had trouble with that. Maybe it's because I'm in a room where I have so many other things I have to do that if I look up, I see something that's supposed to be finished because this is not normally where I do this. But so I had trouble with trying to, and I had trouble with this one anyway, and trying to I am with this Zen tale. I like at one point that was me. I'm getting better at it. I still do that once in a while, but I'm getting much better at looking inside me, good things about me before I think about the negative things. So I'm getting better, not there yet, but it all falls apart at Christmas time dealing with family, but doing better now though.
They have
So
a how do you call that? They have a
I have a
special
name for that.
gift
Yes.
in pushing those buttons.
Yes. And they don't even have to be here to do it. Yeah. So yeah, no. So I found it good in that it was a reminder to, think about the positive stuff, see what you're doing to make sure what you're doing is helping you and maybe others.
Mhm.
Because I will say I do notice now when something comes up at the office and something changes, my first reaction is not, well, this is a negative problem. What is the actual issue, and how is this going to affect me, and how will this affect me? What can I do so it won't affect me so much? How can I react to it better? So yeah, I do find I am doing that now more. So
This is wonderful.
yeah,
And
doesn't
as
always work, but I'm trying.
but at least it's the first step, right?
Yeah,
As
exactly.
Tara was saying at the beginning, it's a practice. We're dipping we're dipping our cloth into this indigo blue dye, and as we are dipping it, at one point we're going to have this very, very profound, beautiful, rich blue that is going to be almost glowing. I was reflecting so much because this was, as you say, this was a really, it is a difficult segment to understand because we're going into a much deeper practice. And everything you said about, how we react today. And even though if I was practicing mindfulness maybe 4 or 5 years before, doing it in such an intensive way with a program, um, because of the function of the program, it has actually pushed me into reflecting even more about it. And to tell you the truth, because I need to practice whatever I'm saying and practicing or sharing with you, I saw myself changing completely my perception of my relationship with my father and then with everyone I'm working, and making a huge difference between who I am and and that connection I was saying earlier, like the daughter of my father, and then the the resource that is reporting to Jennifer. That is one thing, but who I am is, the change management person who's in charge of people's feeling and people's relationship, and making that distinct difference helped me a lot in the way that I am bringing my my recommendations and then talking to the people very
Mhm.
much. And I can see that through you and the story that you just told me, how you are also, walking that path and making it. So
Yeah.
it's very interesting, and I want to thank you for that. So I want to leave us with an intention for the week. Just, you don't have to share; you just have to think about it if you are not comfortable sharing it. It's the intention is what matters the most to us, and then the attention is, that I'm giving the attention of being present, and then what am I doing now to change it. So my intention to the week is to make sure that I'm bringing the most I can as the person who is the change management person to this program at the beginning of this year, and hopefully for the entire 2021. And my attention is to be present for every time that I'm being approached, and every time someone asks me a question about it.
Mhm.
So if you want to share yours, go ahead. Otherwise, let me know.
I'm not sure. I have an intention, but yeah. So
So I wanted to thank you so very much for being here. I'm just going to